did you get the email? Well, it was just weird. I remember the last time I couldn't talk to you. Walter, what's up, man? All right. Yo,
What's good?
what's up, man?
Chilling.
Let me just turn the volume up so we can be heard. Speaking to the camera again.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if you want to speak into it loud because I know I don't know if you listen to the audio, but it was a little bit low.
What, mine?
Yeah.
I'm using my phone, so I don't know.
All right. You have headphones in or no?
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, Walter?
What's up?
Walter,
you-
Mr. Consistent Walter.
What you mean?
You're always here.
Of course.
Yeah, Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, I ain't about to play no games with you. All right. So obviously this part's going to be edited out. So talk as much as you want to before we cut this. So I don't know if you guys ready? I can intro.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Health and Wealth Podcast. I am joined here by
Collins Mugado.
Walter Ogendo.
and I am your host, John Joga. We have a special episode here for you guys today. A lot of great topics that we brought to you, brought towards the table together. And we're really excited to just discuss these topics because it's, things that are going to be impacted since today, the future, and from years from now. So it's just very, very interesting topics that we have for you guys today. So today I just want to get into what resources do you guys use for your financial education?
Okay, yeah, this is interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of online resources. I personally like books because I think books are more like comprehensive. You can learn a lot more from them. Recently, for example, I've been really into a book called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. And it's a book that comes very well, highly recommended by Warren Buffett and people like that. And that's a hell of an endorsement to have. So I like books, but I also, I jump around and look at online resources and things like that.
Yeah, when it comes to like finding financial resources, it's kind of hard because it could be a lot at once if you're not really familiar with it, and also you don't know really like where to look. But me mostly I watch I read news articles or like financial articles, and I also watch documentaries, but I watch them on tangible things that actually happen. So what happened maybe the Great Depression or something like that, and how they actually analyze those type of stuff. That's where I get my stuff from. But I actually have been trying to find some books to read, so that's a great suggestion you just made, Colin. So I'll probably check that book out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's more where that came from for sure.
Yeah, I've been looking for some books to find to read because I'm trying to find out how to get better and stuff. I'm like, I need to read books. So these people who are writing the books, they went through the work to get them published, and you can actually check their name too to see if they're credible or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That book there though, like right on the cover it says, what is it? Like the best book on investment ever written, or something like that. And it's a Warren Buffett endorsement. Just for me, as far as endorsements go, I mean that's kind of like Mike Tyson giving a boxing endorsement to somebody. You know what I mean? it doesn't get much bigger than that one.
Yeah. But I think like the best place to start is basically like big news articles, maybe like the Wall Street Journal or the Bloomberg, just to get an example, or just going like finding out like the terminology in economics.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't read enough articles, to be fair. That Wall
Yeah, me
Street
too. That's
Journal.
what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like I like to like watch up and see how people talk about it and break it down.
Mm. Yeah, and also like nowadays, it's like the attention span of a lot of people means that they can't necessarily, like for example, me, I'm a slow reader. So whenever I have to read a book, obviously the Intelligent Investor, I have a physical copy, but most of the time it's audiobooks. You know what I mean? Like it's easy if you're driving to work, if you're doing different things, you know, you could be washing dishes or whatever and just have it in there. Whereas like if you're reading a physical book, sometimes you have to read it 2 or 3 times to get to understand it.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but with me,
Yeah.
if I have to get the book, I'm more likely to write it down. Just so I have to keep reading. Like I write notes on stuff I'm reading.
Right. True. Yeah, there's a give and take.
Like if I'm using my phone or my computer, I'm most likely not gonna write nothing down.
Mm. What about you, John?
What about you?
Yeah, I'm more of a YouTube fanatic. You know, there's a lot of channels that I've subscribed to. You know, guys like the Betterment Boss, Phil Towns.
Mm.
You know, even guys that are you know, maybe not have the financial education, but bring people together, like guys like O.J. Duke Jackson, guys like Kevin Samuels. Who else?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of research that you know I just flipped through, and you know just try to get the message, you know, ingrain the message of like let's say, you know, from things from like washing dishes to playing video games. Even if
Yeah.
I'm doing something that's leisure or, you know, doing something else, I can listen to it and get the knowledge. And that works for me. I enjoy getting that knowledge and, you know, trying to implement it into my life. So, yeah, so I subscribe to a bunch of YouTube channels, whether it's for investing, you know, either learning how to get a job, learning how to be professional, self-improvement.
Yeah, you know what? And these little things are easy to overlook, right? It's kind of like whenever people start to think about making money, they just want to make $1 million and go live on the beach, right? But all of the different like habits and little things that you would have to pay attention in order to even get to a level of financial freedom, it's easy to overlook. And it's good to also have people that remind you that this game isn't like there's no finish line. You know, you just have to keep going.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part too.
Yeah.
Because I know complacency is another thing that on the way to success is gonna be there. You know, you're gonna feel like, oh yeah, man, I got 100,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm balling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, 100%, man. But we need to get punched in the gut a couple of times in order to humble ourselves. Hopefully not. You know what? Like the ideal situation, right, is like you go into it knowing what to expect. You go into trying to achieve knowing that you're going to be tested and you're ready for it, right? But sometimes some lessons we all have to learn the hard way sometimes.
yeah, and I think the reason why it's hard for some people is because there's certain, you know, habits or certain things that has to be addressed in order for them to get that mental space where it's like, all right, you know, I expect this, or you know what I'm saying, or I know what to do when I'm in this situation, or all right,
Yeah,
there's nothing like there's a blueprint, I have a steps, I have a plan in order to get to where I need to go. It depends on where your mental state is at too. Because yeah, you want to get started a business, but if your mindset is in the I don't need money now, I'm looking at people on social media. This is kind of something I was struggling with. Like, dang, like, oh, our podcast only has 20 views, man. How can I get it to 30? Or it's like, oh, it's cool to have 20 views right now. Take a deep breath.
yeah,
There's more views that are going to come in the future. Just work on building it now. And I think,
yeah, exactly.
you know, it's just you see things on social media. It's crazy how it can kind of, you know, kind of change your mind and kind of warped how you view things. And, you know, there's a lot of
Exactly.
work that goes into certain things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you use the perfect word right there. It warps your perception. Because even the people who are there, right? The people that you're looking up to, if you were able to actually look behind the scenes, you wouldn't want their lives necessarily. You know, the guys that look good for social media,
Mhm.
like a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
times, you know, yeah. You go behind the scenes, it's like, oh, this is rough. I'm glad I have my 20 views and I have the happy life. You know what
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of headaches that gotta come with it that you're not aware of.
I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy sometimes that you have to take a step and look back because it looks so tempting. It's like, damn, man, like, you know what I'm saying, I ain't there yet. Damn.
Right? Exactly, right? But meanwhile, they're on their 100th rep. You just started doing push-ups, and you're like, fuck, come on now. But like, okay, so I've been reading a lot of like Stoic philosophy. Have you guys ever heard of the Stoics at all?
I know you mentioned it to me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
break that down.
Okay, so like the Stoics, right, were like a lot of the Roman emperors or whatever. Not a lot of them, but a lot of people in during them times, they kind of adopted these philosophies of life that would actually lead them to kind of live a good life. And one of the things that they were pursuing is this feeling of, they called it equanimity, right? Of being content with exactly what you have, to the point where you don't need, it's not like you're not like, in today's society, people think that the way to get more happy is to get more things, right? But these guys, they trained themselves in the opposite direction, where they were trying to figure out, okay, how is it possible for me to be content with everything that I already have? And these guys were high achievers as well. Like you're talking about like guys like Marcus Aurelius, who was a Roman emperor. He was like one of the last great Roman emperors during the time. And then you had a few guys that were like investment bankers during the times, like like actual amazing professions, right? And they had these philosophies written down of how they could live a good life without the craving of material possessions, and then ended up getting those material possessions anyway, just through how they carry themselves. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, but at the
Mm.
same time, like to apply it like right now, kind of be difficult. Just the way like human nature has changed from the Roman times
Mm.
until now. It's like, especially when you're in a very consumer driven society since we were young, right? Whether you're seeing on TV or now on social
Mm-hmm.
media, it's a little
Yeah.
difficult for, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I hear you, but I would say it was difficult then, because the majority of people weren't living like Marcus Aurelius, right? They were living the way they wanted to live, craving, like it's that thing of like, you are always trying to crave, you're craving pleasure and you're running away from pain, right? People think that that's what life is all about. You want as much pleasure as possible and as little pain as possible, right? And everything that they do is geared towards achieving more. Even things like getting rich. People want to get rich because they think that's the way to maximize their pleasure. It's not because they think, you know, they genuinely think that, oh, this is the way out of my present state of suffering, to get rich and make a bunch of money, so that like I don't have to worry about certain things. But as soon as you get that money, you realize that there's more problems waiting for you on the other side. So these guys kind of trained themselves to be like, you know what, give me problems. I want problems. I want good problems. It's not that I don't want any problems. I want better and better problems as I get older, as I mature more. And that's the fascinating stuff. And that's why it's like, I don't think it's that different to today necessarily. It's just like the individual has to make that decision by themselves, and decide not to play the game that the rest of them are playing.
No, I'm saying I wasn't saying that it was it was different. I was saying it was difficult just because of like all the influence we have today.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
So
saying?
then I agree with you. Go on.
I mean, it's a little hard. That's what I'm saying. Like, how would one achieve that? Like, what's the best way of doing that today in this society?
Well, okay. So for example, like I was having this discussion with my boss the other day about like being on your phone a lot, right? Like a lot of times, most people, I shouldn't say most people because I don't know for sure, but like I would imagine that most people, the first thing that they do when they wake up is to look at their phone before they're even like vertical, before they've gotten up off their bed, they're already on their phone. They're already looking, right? So like certain people, they would just decide, you know what? That's not how I'm going to start my day. I'm not going to look at my phone until 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like it's just a conscious decision that each individual makes based off of what they view a good life to look like, right? Because they're actually putting thought into it. They're actually think that they're living intentionally rather than like stumbling through life and wanting what everybody says they should want. You know, the reason, like one of the main reasons why we think um, this traditional route is the way to go is because that's what everybody else has said. Why do people end up graduating high school and going to college, taking on student loans and things like that? Because they think that is the path to success, because that's what we've been told. But as soon as like we decide, actually no, that's not the path to my success. You could go there. You could take that path to your success, but I don't need to do it. Then all of a sudden it opens us up as individuals to new possibilities. And that's the fascinating thing.
So
Yeah,
basically, just like start with small steps and then build them to bigger steps until you get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, precisely that. And it's like the small things are the ones that make the biggest difference, because like it's the small things that you do that create your personality. Like what type of person you are to other people is based off of the small, it's not the big things that you want everybody to see, but it's all of the small things that you do regardless of whether anybody sees or not. You know, if the doors could be locked, you could have no audience, and yet your character is built off of the things that you do when there's nobody around to clap, you know? So those are the things, I mean, for me, those are the things that create success.
that's a very, very important point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mini steps
Mm-hmm.
lead to your path to making bigger steps in life, and I think that's what
Yeah,
you have to put emphasis on and really realize.
yeah. Because like all of like the rest of it, like the success happens by accident. You know what I mean? Like it happens, it just kind of happens, right? Like you ask a lot of like, say somebody like I don't know, like Eminem, right? Eminem is one of the greatest rappers to have ever lived. But if you asked him whether or not he wants to be famous, he'd probably say no, right? That's not why he started writing, not why he started doing all that. Like he just had that obsession, and he would do it every day, no matter what, all the time, reading dictionaries, doing all the, all of that stuff, the little stuff that gave him joy. The fame happened by accident. It happened because other people liked what he was doing, but you know what I mean? It was just whatever. Let's just do it. He's just committed to the process. That's another way of looking at it. He's committed to the process. The outcome doesn't even matter.
So what's the best way of like promoting that so other people can get on that wave? Or what is your ideas of that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the best way to promote that is to be the type of person that is committed to the process.
So
You know
leading
what
by
I mean?
example.
Somebody that just wants to do excellent work all the time, regardless of what, then other people will see that, and in order to associate with you, will have to get on board with that. Just creates, it almost creates a filter of like the people that are in your life. You know who's really about it and who's not, and the people who are not about it, they won't survive. Like if you want like to have a circle of people who are trying to achieve things, the rest of them they'll fall away. They're too easy to offend. They're too wishy-washy. They're too fair weather.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point that you uttered out. Because yeah, you have to look at it this way. Like, what I'm saying, this is a train. I'm the conductor.
Mm-hmm.
This train stops at this station at this time. We have a structured schedule over here. You can come up here, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying. Especially if you're not really contributing nothing, you can't just switch up the schedule and we make adjustments for you. No, you have to come and make
Correct.
adjustments in order for you to board this train, to board this railway.
It's exactly that. And it's no hard feelings. It's not like you have to like do it in like a malicious way to show somebody who's boss or whatever. But like, what time it is yourself, so everybody else who's around you should know what time it is.
And that's a key about which I preach, that if anybody's listening to this, work on your self-awareness, because then once you get your self-awareness straightened, then you'll understand how things work and see things from other people's perspective. I'm saying? Perspective is a hell of a thing, because you have to be able to view other people's perspective in order for you to grow and move forward as an individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like in this culture, there's like a lot of like I honestly believe, I live by the mantra that most things don't matter, right? Most things don't matter. So like whenever somebody's telling me a story about like, oh, this person said this and then that person did that, I find it very difficult to listen. I tune out of them. Talk to me about ideas. You know what I mean? Talk to me about cool shit that's worth listening to, that's interesting, not just people. For me, I can't do it. I've never been able to do it. That gossip shit, I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the John was talking about perspective. The thing with perspective that I think people don't want to do is because when you start to look at things from other perspectives, it begins to challenge your own beliefs, and now you got to look yourself in the mirror and see if you was right about certain topics, and you got to make that change. And that's a lot of things that people ain't willing to do.
Oh, Walter, thank you. Let me get on that point too. That is another thing too. I think that's a problem that's affecting groups, is the unwillingness to change. I think in order for you to become successful, you have to change along the way. You can't do the same thing and expect different results. That's the definition of insanity. You have to be able to change your routine, change, your habits, change what you listen to, what you consume, how you move. All that has to be changed in order for you to get to where you want to be. Because if you were where you wanted to be, there's no need for change. But you're not where you want to be. I think that's what we have to emphasize.
There's another side to that. There's the side of you are where you want to be, and you're not changing because everything is going great, and you don't realize like, things around you are changing, and eventually you're not able to sustain the same success that you're able to have. Like, it's not just people who are just doing the wrong thing over and over again. It's people who are successful who are stuck in no change either. So everyone's affected by it.
Yeah, you can put a rebound. I missed that point.
Yeah, it's that like the Blockbuster thing. You guys remember Blockbuster Video?
Yeah. I was about to say that example too. That's crazy.
Okay, yeah. Talk. Let's go.
Oh well, no. I mean, just because they was the dominant player in the thing.
Oh, Walter, you muted.
Yeah, my bad. I got a call, but Netflix had their thing with just the DVDs. They didn't have the streaming service yet, and then they went. Blockbuster said to buy them. They did it, and Netflix kept going with it.
Yeah, and look at them now. It's that like it's a principle that applies everywhere, right?
And the crazy thing is, I seen an article. I didn't read it, but I saw the headline that Blockbuster had the technology to do what Netflix did, and they just didn't do it.
They just didn't, because they thought, like we're in the right industry. We're making a whole bunch of money. why change anything? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, type of thing. You know?
Yeah,
And actually,
you gotta remember there was no like streaming. Like that's a new thing.
mm-hmm. And even like Kodak, was it Kodak? Yeah, Kodak with Instagram. Think about that for a second, right? Like Kodak used to be the camera to buy. If you wanted to buy a camera, you went and bought a Kodak. Everybody wanted a Kodak moment, things like that. And all of a sudden, Instagram decided, you know what? We're going to open this thing up to the public. We're going to make photographers out of regular people. And now look.
Well, I think it was more so smartphones than Instagram, but you can't really like upload a picture on a camera to Instagram. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, okay, smartphones, yeah, but there were other social media accounts that were doing stuff like that. That were you could upload pictures to Facebook and stuff like that. But Instagram focused very much on the photography aspect of things, and that was a niche that was dominated by Kodak, like these cameras, right? That was a niche that was dominated by them, right? So like they could have anticipated that move and didn't.
I get what you're saying. They could have came up with like their own streaming service.
Yeah, like a social media.
Yeah. But the thing is, they might not have had the ability to do that.
Possibly.
They were like a camera company or a film company, you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah,
but did you say the thing about Netflix might be actually buying out theaters and stuff like that?
Netflix might be buying out what? Adidas?
Theaters, not Adidas, like movie theaters.
Oh, I was like, what? Oh my god! They would. So how does that work then? Like, what do they do?
I guess they're buying like failing theaters and then putting like their own movies and putting them there themselves.
So like, okay. So you'll be watching Netflix originals in the theaters.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, huh? I thought maybe like the theaters would be shutting down and all of the movies would just go onto Netflix or something. But that makes sense.
No.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's basically like not just Netflix, but it's basically all the companies that make movies, they're not allowed to have their own movie theaters. So now instead of like going to like AMC, you can go to maybe like, I don't know, whatever Paramount, they make movies, go there and they stream only Paramount movies.
Oh shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. Man, things are changing, man. Things are changing. This is the biggest change to certain things, especially within entertainment, that probably we've ever seen. And we've been forced into it in a way.
Oh, in the last 10 years? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so nuts. Yeah, in the last 10 years for sure, but even in the last couple of years, especially with coronavirus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to be huge changes to the movie industry.
I think we need to. I think now that we know that, like us as you know, what I'm saying obviously we're doing the group thing. I'm not going to get too much details about that, but now we should be able to like expect major changes to happen. Like what? Maybe every 10 years, I'd say, maybe 5 to 10 years. Because now with the blockbuster thing, this kind of like kind of like similar to the blockbuster thing. Now movie theaters is, what I'm saying, with the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Sports,
I mean, yeah, you do. We just have to have our finger on the pulse at all times. You know?
Yeah, and it's hard to predict change because you have to be in the know of like what's happening in the industries, and then you have to assume that whatever's happening is gonna work. Like that's the thing that like a lot of these stuff don't happen. Like YouTube, we're lucky YouTube worked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like compared to when you first went on YouTube to now, where people are getting paid millions of dollars upon millions of dollars to post on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why guys like Gary Vee is like a genius. You know what I mean? Like where, like if you look at like some of the predictions that he made way long ago about what's gonna happen, and then watching all of that stuff happen, I mean, that's somebody that just has, I mean, you can't teach that. You know what I mean? Somebody just has to be obsessed and spending all their time paying attention to these things. And then when they happens, he can predict exactly how they'll happen and what will happen. Like before Facebook bought Instagram, Gary Vee said, Facebook is going to buy Instagram. And it happened. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but he probably was in the know too, because I see him around like a lot of different people from different industries, whether it's music, tech, business, politics, and he's always with the newest person or someone who has like the most information. So that's how he's able to make these predictions combining everything else and what he knows.
Yeah, but you know what? This is also like a chicken and egg thing. Does he know the stuff because he's around these people, or is he around these people because he knows the stuff? Right.
It could be.
So like,
it depends. I think it depends on the industry you're talking about with him. It's a little bit of both. I don't think it's one or the other.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because I think, me personally, I think that he got into those circles because like the predictions he was making seemed to make so much sense, right? And then like these guys just, I don't know, maybe they listened to him or whatever, and they took a lot of the advice that he was giving and just decided, you know what, that seems like a good idea, we're going to do that now, or something. Maybe. I don't know how these things work, to be fair. Like, I'm not like well versed in like the media industry or anything like that. That seems to be something that could have happened that way.
Yeah, that's another thing too, because you can never predict the market. It's just always, just understand that eventually it's going to go down, it's going to go up. I just expect volatility. So just always be on your toes is something that you just can never predict the market.
Well, no, there are people who predict the market. Just are you going to listen to them is the point. Like, what credible are they? Like, there are people who have to predict the market and say, yo, there's a problem in this sector, whether it's housing or whether it's business. People predict this all the time.
Yeah, based off of like the certain, like there's different, it's obviously cause and effect, right? So there's different fundamentals that would happen, right? And people clock those fundamentals and they see, oh, this thing is happening. Oh, and then that thing is happening. Oh, we've seen this before. That usually means the next step is this. Because even like with like, depressions and stuff like that, there's people who predict, oh, the market is about to crash. Why? Because, well, we're in a bubble. This is how we know, because this happened back in, and they're just able to do that over and over again based off
100%. It's just people don't always listen because, like, they don't want to, if they know something's going to go down, something has to change, whether it's raising tax or whatever, and now you get into politics, and people don't want to do that. So it always comes back to hurt us, even though this stuff had to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you can predict, you can make predictions. The thing that you can't do, the thing that I agree with you on, John, is that you can't necessarily time the market, right? So you can't say for sure.
Yeah, that's why you should have said time.
Yeah, you can't like time the market. You can't come up to like exact figures of what's going to happen, but you could have like a good sense of like, is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? Will it be bad? Slight recession, depression? You could predict those stuff.
100%.
Word. So what's up, John?
Yeah, so we're about to get to we're at the 7-minute mark right now. For minutes remaining in the meeting. So obviously we're probably just gonna do 2 sessions today. Then I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, let's talk about self-improvement, because the other 2 topics, or the other topics I have on here, are too good for 7 minutes. So obviously we talked about the YouTube channels that we use for resources, but what kind of self-improvement tips have you learned to do over the years?
Okay. All right. So obviously I mentioned the Stoic philosophy type of stuff. That stuff is huge for me. But like I like to, like the thing that's really helped me personally is meditation. And I mention it so often, I feel like one of those, like, I feel like a Jehovah's Witness or something, like a shill. I don't know. Like I'm always saying, I'm always telling people, oh, you gotta meditate, because I believe in it. I believe that when you start your day off, um, just looking at your mind, you're able to better control it. You know what I mean? Like people don't think, they think they're in control, right? We have this illusion within us that we're always in control, that we have a certain level of free will, that every action that we take is our choice. But a lot of what we do is based off of momentum. We're doing things based off of what we tend to do rather than what's in our best interests or whatever. Like we're not rational. So like what meditation has helped me to do has been able, like, for me to just, calm down, slow down the momentum and make a new choice, make a new path. So I'll wake up sometimes in the morning and I feel a little agitated and whatever, and my day could go directly south from the time I wake up in the morning. I could be shitty to like the person when I'm getting coffee. I could, just really irritable, whatever. But just being able to slow down and turn the momentum around nice and early just helps. It helps so much. And when you do it often, it's transformative in ways that like I couldn't even begin to explain to you, because you would have to do it and see it for yourself. But that's for me. That's my main, when it comes to personal development and self-improvement, that's my main tool for me.
Yeah, I mean, in a general sense, self-improvement just comes with living life, learning lessons, and talking to different people who have the same experience or different experiences. And everyone can have some sort of a self-improvement, regardless of how they're going in life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think,
well, I disagree with that, but continue.
Why you disagree with that?
Well, because not everybody's gonna improve.
I mean, if you're in like a very terrible situation, like you're in a war-torn country or something like that, or like I guess your environment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I think people go through self-improvement through life. But I'm speaking in a general sense. But I think like
Okay.
what you're talking about with meditation, I think people have to find them their levels of something that can help them improve themselves, like every day or daily. Like we have to find that, whether it's meditation, working out. Like you found yours. I think everyone has to find theirs. That was my.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but if people don't find theirs, they're not. I don't think they're going to improve. I think they might grow older, but there's people that like grow older and never really make. In fact, the older you grow, if you stay the same and you're growing older, you're going backwards, right? So like, there's a lot of people like are in their 40s and in their 50s and in their 60s that have never really. They haven't. Maybe they're wiser or whatever, or more experienced if you like, but they're not improved. So that's the thing. Like, self-improvement is a choice that you have to make individually. If you never make that choice, then there's no reason why you would improve, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a very important part, because you know what I'm saying, people can go through the experiences, but until you make that choice, then what I'm saying, it just might be a repeated cycle, or you might get better here and there, but you'll never really what I'm saying, maybe not get on your true path.
Because it's possible to like, because there's people who like I sometimes think about like, why do people end up committing suicide? Obviously there's different reasons, right? And it's not all based off of their inability to improve or whatever. But like, I always think that people end up in dark situations because they don't like they don't have that like correction mechanism in them. You know what I mean? That like being able to like correct course and go in a different direction. Obviously there's different circumstances. There's people who are chronically depressed and they need medication, and I'm not saying that every single person that's ever committed suicide is because they've been reluctant to improve or get better. But that accounts for a huge percentage of people who get depressed and then commit suicide, I think.
So wait, do you think there are people out there who may not have the ability to self-improve based off their environment, the situation that they're in?
Okay, so they may not. Okay, that I think everybody has the ability to improve. In fact, if you are somebody that wants to improve, having a fucked up environment is actually an advantage.
But then there's
I think
levels to it. That's what I'm saying. So like, is there a level where like it's damn near impossible? Like if you live like in Iraq, like in a war-torn place, how do you really self-improve when you're worried about like food or your house gonna get bombed? That's what I'm saying.
This is okay. This is great. This is phenomenal. Let's table this for part 2 because I really want to get into this. This is great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for continuing to support us. We're going to be heading on to the next session. So, yep, goodbye, and we're headed to session 2. Thank you for the support.